What's up, guys? Chasing Lane here with episode number 26, sorry, of From Grove to Glory. I just looked that up and I still can't do maths in my brain or numbers in my brain. So this weekend we're at Russia at the Black Sea Grand Prix, and we're looking at a very wet weekend. We're looking at pretty high tyre wear, but I think we're probably just gonna run inters and wets in quali. In practice, maybe I'll run some softs as well, just to keep things a little bit balanced, just so we've got an option in case it's changeable, because we know we do well in changeable conditions. There's going to be a lot of softs we take this week. In terms of development, we've now finished our road car factory, which is around here somewhere. We'll find it. We'll find it. Where is the road car factory? It's got to be hiding somewhere. Apparently it's not on site. See if we can do it this way. Upgrade buildings, is that where we find these things? I always forget because I rarely get this far in the tree. The road car factory, there we go, we've got that. So that's going to bring in an extra 750,000 per race, which is great because balance wise that means we're now making a profit, which means there is some small change. I'm still working on some parts for the car, but I don't think any of them are ready to come in just yet. But changes for the race: I've promoted George Russell back to the race seat. We've dropped Robert Kubica down to being our reserve driver. He'll also drive practice because then we can still take advantage of the bonus we get from him being a pay driver. So nothing else to report sponsors wise. We've got a couple of races left with Panasonic as sponsors. I've just noticed we've got Total and Petronas as sponsors, and they probably shouldn't be on the same car. We've also got BMW sponsoring a car with a Mercedes engine. Who knows? Either way, we're going to go into the start of the race weekend. We will take the Mahindra bonus today. Why not? We'll take their money. And I'm hoping if we get a changeable condition or changeable conditions in the race, I think we can probably get both drivers on the podium, because George Russell is certainly good enough to be up there. Tyres wise, let's see what the auto pick suggests. That's not even close to what I was thinking. I'm thinking we're going to do 11 sets of softs. And 2 each on the hards and the mediums, because I don't think we're going to need to run that many hards or mediums over the course of the weekend. But we might get through some softs if things are changeable, so we're going to go that way. Part fitting, nothing is going to change. I'm going to go and do quali and practice off screen like I normally do, and then we will come back for the race. So we are back for race day, and it was a really good qualifying session. Both cars into Q3. We've got Fernando Alonso starting in 8th, George Russell starting in 9th. A really strong, solid performance from the boys. It does mean we're locked into some soft tyres to start the race. It is going to start dry, so you know, we'll make do as we make do, but we're looking at a long, cold, rainy period later on. Now, strategy wise, obviously it's going to be raining for a lot of the race. I'm going to try and get straight onto a set of wets somewhere around lap 20 is going to be the plan. But these soft tyres, brilliantly, will only go about 11 laps. So I've had to sort of make some choices. I've dropped 6 laps of fuel because it's a 61 lap race, as is normal. Yeah, I've had to make a strat choice, and I was toying with the idea of going full attack, but now I think if the plan is to go to lap 20, I'd rather... In fact, we'll attack on the first couple of laps, and then I'm going to try and keep the second stint going as long as I possibly can, fully burn the last lap into the pits, try and get a fast in lap on the second, what will be the second stop, because we're going to have to use 2 sets of softs, and then try and go the rest of the distance on wets, which I think is going to be 2 sets probably. So it's probably looking at a 4-stop race, or a 3-stop race, sorry. But yeah, we're probably looking at a 3-stopper today, because yeah, I don't think we're going to get a single set of wets for 30 laps or so. Or 30, 40 laps. It's not going to happen. So today's starting grid, we have got Hamilton on pole. Vettel sits alongside him. Leclerc and Bottas make up the second row. On the third row, Rene Rast and Graham Rahal for Red Bull. A bit of a surprise with Rene Rast putting his car ahead of Rahal, only by 0.01 of a second though. Ricciardo and Alonso make up row 4. Russell and Raikkonen make up row 5. And there are some surprises further back. In 11th, Pietro Fittipaldi. In 12th, Sergei Sorokin, which is something you never thought you'd see as a rower that high up. Lando Norris and Giovinazzi make up the 7th row. The 8th row is Esteban Ocon and Felipe Albuquerque in the McLaren. On row 9, Sergio Perez went out in Q1, as did Danny Kvyat, as did Alex Albon, and so did Max Verstappen, bringing up the rear. So let's look for he was 10 seconds down in Q1 because he only went out for one run on a set of soft tyres while it was raining. Excellent strategy by the Haas boys there. Top draw work. We're very proud of them for their efforts. But now we go into the 5 red lights. We're going to turn off the ERS. We're just going to let it go, and go. So let's see what we can do here off the line. We're going to watch Fernando because I feel like Fernando's our best bet at picking up places, but we can switch. They're next to each other. And it should be fine. It should be all good. It's a really short lap here around Russia. It's about a 56-second lap in qualifying. I think early in a race on high fuel we're looking at about a 1:05 tops. It really is a short lap, so we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on things as Alonso fights his way up into 5th. Russell has come up into 7th now, and coming around on this first lap is going to be really interesting. You can see Alonso is in a fight with Lewis Hamilton, which is just scary. Our car hasn't developed far enough that we should have Fernando Alonso, as good as he is. He shouldn't be in a fight with Lewis as he cuts the corner just to get the extra advantage. Still no love lost between these two after the 2007 season. 13 years later, they still can't fight fair, as Leclerc and Ricciardo are fighting over second as well. It's all going off. Vettel coming up the outside of Alonso as well. He's taking 5th. But I feel like we'll get it back coming through this corner. Alonso cuts again as George Russell is dropping like a stone a little bit. We have to keep an eye on this because we're going to have to get big on the ERS as soon as we possibly can. Across the line, boom, done. Let's fire ourselves up. Nobody ahead of Alonso has gone into hybrid mode, but everyone between us, between our drivers, bar Vettel, was on hybrid. So Russell will pick up some places. Alonso, we're going 3 wide through this corner. 3 wide with 2 Ferraris. That's dirty as Ricciardo has taken first place. Ricciardo leads the Russian Grand Prix in the Renault. Big moves by Renault this season. Feel like maybe they decided to compromise on the spending on the drivers and put all of their focus instead on the car, because they've obviously brought in Sorokin, who's a pay driver. Not a great driver, but a pay driver, bringing some money. As Russell's moved up into 3rd, I've just spotted. Now 2nd, battling with Hamilton, and Alonso just behind. We've got 5 cars. It could go 5 wide into the final corner at this rate. We're almost 4 wide. Almost 4 wide. Oh, what? That's so tight. That's so tight. And we have a 1-2 in this Grand Prix. We are leading at the very, very sharp end of this Grand Prix. It's only the end of lap 2 onto lap 3. But we have a 1-2, and if we can start pulling away here, we've been very, very quick in Sector 1, by the way, over the course of the weekend. If we can start pulling away, we are doing an absolute madness here. We are obviously going to have to pit for tyres fairly early, but I just can't bring myself to turn this down. I think we can pull out something of a gap. We're already pulling out 7/10 on Hamilton and Ricciardo, and they're not coming back. They're too busy fighting to come back at us. We might be on for a madness here. I have no doubt it's probably because we're burning tyres and they're not. It is, but it's absolutely fine. That's acceptable. Let's give George the little extra push we've got there. Just see if we can maybe spread things out a little bit further. Hamilton's coming back a little bit. He's within 6/10 of Alonso, but to be expected. I think we're probably going to speed things up a little bit. Just to see if we can increase this lead. Like I said, through Sector 1 is definitely where we're strongest. Hamilton's keeping us honest though. 7/10 is honesty box time. We're going to go back to neutral with our tyres because they are starting to overheat a little bit. And that will bring Hamilton through. And we can't really expect to hold Lewis off for too long. We're going to go to George Russell because he's leading the race. It feels like we should be following George. George Russell in a battle with Hamilton, the guy who you've got to believe in real life he's lined up to replace at Mercedes. And we've got a real battle on our hands at the top here. A real battle. We are going to have to come in for a change of tyres fairly early on in the Grand Prix. At which point I'm going to have to make a big strat call to see how we get to lap 20. If we can get another set of fresh softs to lap 20, I think we're going to be okay. Still looking at a forecast of rain about lap 17, but lap 20 I think is where, you know, it's going to really change over. I'd like to be on a set of softs as Hamilton pushes his way through to first. I'd like to be on a set of softs for as long as we possibly can be. And I think this is going to be the lap where I bring in George. Come on, bring in George. That's the plan. Bring in George here for his set of softs. They should go 15 laps. That's going to cross over nicely in the rain. Perfect. We'll also do a full recharge of the battery, give him that extra ERS boost. And we're going to go with the quick pit strategy. There's a bit of a risk. It's only a fixing, guys, so hopefully it'll be fine. Hopefully it'll be fine. I'm just going to drop that back down so I can use all of the ERS on Russell. Bring him in the hard way. We're going to attack on the way into the pits. Let's see what we can make happen. And then going through the next lap, we're going to bring in Fernando, who's going to start dropping down a little bit. But we'll make up for it by giving him extra to play with for the next stint. I think that's probably the plan. George pushes his way back up into second as he looks like coming in for his first pit stop. I don't know if Lewis is going to come in first. We might be looking for an undercut here. It could be the plan. We'll see if Lewis is coming in as well. So he's obviously got wind. We're going for it. Gone to try and undercut Russell. Russell, same mindset. Let's bring in Alonso as well. We're fine on parts. We'll add the battery charge. We'll go fast strat as well, and we're going to push Alonso down this back straight. Bring him in hard. Bring him in hard on attack mode with the tyres. Rear jack error. That cost us a second. That's not ideal. We're going to go to push with George because I think these tyres will take it at least till the rain starts, and we're going to try and, if it will let me, cut back to George. George has disappeared. Where has George gone? George? George, buddy? Buddy? Hi. You wanna rejoin my dashboard? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Right, push. Give that the big push. That's what we need. And then we're going to rejoin Fernando as he tries to push on his in lap. He's going to push his way up into third. Or try. He'll come in from fourth. There's Bottas coming in as well with him. We're going to drop that strat down to push as well. And we're going to see if Alonso can hopefully get himself an error-free stop. He has done, I think. I think that was error-free. It was error-free. That's good times. And we're still ahead of Valtteri Bottas. We've dropped down to 6th. That's not too shabby. George Russell has lost a lot of places. Although he has stayed ahead. He and Hamilton have stayed ahead of Alonso. So clearly the undercut was a powerful strategy. Let's keep going. Keep going is the plan. Let's get back to George, because drivers ahead of us are going to come in. Fittipaldi started on mediums. I think there was one guy on the grid that started on mediums. Everyone should be coming in more or less now. I can't imagine that any of these guys are really in a position to be doing as well as they're doing. I think Ricciardo's probably going to hold on to these softs for as long as he possibly can. But George Russell is currently in a fight with Lewis. He's in an actual fight with Lewis Hamilton. That's mad. And now Alonso is up behind him. Hamilton goes through, as we sort of loosely expect. We'll give a bit of a push to George. And really, we're just playing against the rain now. We're just playing against the rain. We expect the rain to start within the next 4 laps, you'd expect. Once the rain gets going, we're going to push these tyres up as hard as we can because the temps will drop. Leclerc is in from P1, but he's got a bit of repair work to do, so that will drop him pretty much out of the running. And now Fittipaldi, Pietro Fittipaldi, leads the Russian Grand Prix. Who'd have thought it? Coming into the pits, I don't think he even got an official lap in the lead. Norris is in as well, and we're back up into third. Alonso up in second. Vettel in among the fight as well. This is going to go all the way. This is going to be a big old race for us. Let's give both these guys the push. Let's see if we can get them anywhere. Anywhere at all, to be honest. Let's see what the strats are looking like elsewhere. Vettel is conserving tyres and still managing to find a way past. I'm guessing he's being very clever with the ERS system. And the tyres are overheated. I get the tyres are overheated. That's not going to help, but also we can afford to use them. We're going to drop those back down to neutral, I think. Hope that cools things off a little bit. The rain will start to come down, or is starting to come down now. You don't have to worry about your worn tyres, buddy. You're due a pit stop anyway. Ocon's already gone on to inters. That's a bold move, because I think there's probably still a couple of laps. Probably still a couple of laps before we're ready for inters. 19. We're getting further into this than I thought we would. Maybe I just did maths wrong. Right. Fernando needs to come in. We're going to bring George in first, because he had the first pit stop. He's going to come in for, I guess... So actually, now I think about it, let's do a conserve. Let's do a little conserve. I'm playing a hunch. I'm playing a hunch that we can get a free pit stop here. You don't need to pit for inters, mate. You do not need to pit for inters, Fernando. Stay out, definitely stay out, because we're about to start lapping cars at a rate of knots. And yes, some of the inter guys will close some gap, although if this brings out a safety car, then we'll change strat. It doesn't look like it's going to. It's just a yellow flag. Alonso is pulling his way up. The track is heading for damp and probably eventually wet. We're going to bring George in next lap. We're going to bring him in for wet, which I think is probably a touch early, but I guess we'll make it work. How long will wets go? 15 to 17, 40 laps remaining. There's an argument for just blast through that set of inters with him. There is an argument for it. Let's do that. Let's blast through a set of inters. Add some more battery for him. Strat, we're going to have to risk it. We have to risk it. We're in an actual battle now. Fernando should be more or less pulling away from the pack, I think, although Vettel catching fast. Catching very fast. But I think we're pretty much at that wet crossover point coming. So I don't know. It's really risky on strategy at this point. So risky. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. It feels like coming in for a set of inters is a waste of time. I may have pushed the softs for a bit too long to make this strat work, but you can see that track's just getting wetter and wetter. I think we can afford to bring Alonso in for a set of wets, and we're just going to have to milk it as far as we possibly can. And hope that works for us. That's sort of my plan. Try and burn off that ERS so we don't kill the battery. And yeah, we're going to have George absolutely pushing on these inters out of the lane. We're going to keep Alonso just kind of doing his thing and hope something special can happen here. We can see Vettel's closed up that gap already. I don't think he'll make the gap all the way up before we pull in. I don't think he's probably a little too far behind, although he's making about a second a corner by the looks of things. He might get us coming out of here, actually. He might get some good traction out of this corner. We will see. We will see. Where is George? George is currently in 13th. Let's give him the push. Really, really milk these tyres for all they're worth. Alonso, give him a push. He's just been passed. He's about to come into the pits. But, like I said, I think Vettel's going to have to make one extra stop than us. So this might actually play out okay. We can see how hard it's coming down. I mean, we're pretty much heading into the properly, fully wet stage of the GP now. I think we may have played this okay. We may have played this okay. I don't think what we're going to lose by being on conserve is going to be enough to affect the balance of those guys on inters having to stop again. I don't think they're going to get enough benefit for long enough for that to be a real issue, although we'll find out. I think, looking at things, because Russell was right behind Alonso, he may have actually lost out by coming in for those inters. He may have lost out. We're going to give Fernando the push straight off the line. It's going to take a little while for him to get his wets up to speed. Sorokin behind him, but you can see how big the gap is. That's 4 and a bit seconds between Russell and Alonso, And that's kind of going to be the difference, I think. It's kind of going to be the difference. We're going to speed things on a little bit, because there are going to be guys coming in for wets now. Norris and Verstappen are coming for wets, and they're firmly behind us. Vettel may have got an advantage. He may have taken the lead of the Grand Prix. He has. But I think actually we're going to be okay. We're going to go back to conserve with Fernando, save those tyres up a little bit. We're going to keep George out for as long as we possibly can on this set of inters, and hope we don't screw his strategy up too much as Leclerc comes in for another repair. The reliability issues at Ferrari are for real right now, as Russell is up into 4th. He will have to pit again, of course. He definitely will have to pit again. But, you know, Alonso's in 1st. He's fighting with Sebastian. He's actually fighting with Sebastian. Let's give him a push. George is complaining about worn tyres. I get it, buddy, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Really is about minimising George's time on the wets to be able to just keep going. Give you a push, bud. See if that helps you out at all. You've been passed by Leclerc. I think we'll bring you in now. It's at 34. If I can get a couple more laps out of you. If I can get a couple more laps out of you, I'll be quite happy. We're going to drop down to neutral for a second, and then see what we can make happen. Track is soaked. He's definitely going to lose time to the cars behind him. Definitely losing time to the cars behind him. But I think that's going to be the crossover point. It's got to be the crossover point. We're going to have to play it very, very smart with George. Very smart. I feel like we're going to keep him on a neutral strategy, and we're going to conserve in the second stint, and then we're going to conserve the first stint with Alonso and attack on the second is going to be the plan. As Alonso, he's dropped back into 3rd behind Hamilton and Vettel. He's not really in the fight anymore, but we should get some good points out today, hopefully. Hopefully we'll get some good points. Pit stop, let's go mistake free, please, boys. Mistake free, that's perfect. Nice job, a 1.6. That'll do it for us. George is out the pits. George can have the push. Big ERS boost. Let's see what we can do. I think we can make this work for us. I think we can make this happen. That's just a theory. Whether or not it plays out is an entirely different thing, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know why that's dropped down that menu. Stop it. Go away. Right. Don't know why that happened. Right. So, Alonso 6 seconds behind. Russell is sitting in 16th at the moment. The extra stop has not helped his race at all, to be fair. I can't blame him. That was a strategy call that I got wrong. You're always going to have that. It was such fine margins. You will always have that problem. Alonso is going to lose some ground. Just wonder how much further these tyres are going to get, because I need to get them to lap 46, so another 13 laps. They're not going to do 13 more laps. Okay, so let's heat them up. Looks like it's going to have to be an extra stop for Alonso. This strategy is not working out well for either driver right now. Really not working out well for either driver, which is a shame, but I guess that's sometimes how it goes, because we don't have the fastest car under any circumstances. To be completely honest, we don't have the fastest car here. So we're making the absolute best we can of it. We're going to have to hope that temp goes up towards the end. It's supposed to, so that will also help keep the tyres warm. We'll hope for just... I guess we're sort of playing for points at this point. We are just playing for points. We're not really in the conversation for the win. We're 9 seconds behind Vettel. Unless we get a safety car towards the end of the race when it's starting to dry out, and maybe I can try something fancy. I think probably top 10 is our ceiling. I understand you're seeing some tyre wear, Fernando. I get that, buddy, but I can't do a lot about it. We're just relying on the teams around us to pit, and that's going to kind of be the big issue for us. In fact, we might just push these tyres to full attack. We'll probably have to push all the wets to full attack, because they're just not holding temperature at all, which is going to add extra stops, but should hopefully add extra time to the race, you would think, or take time out of the race, you would think. We're going to come in this lap with Fernando. Hope he can keep things going. How are all the parts looking? Probably wise to replace a rear wing. Yeah, we'll take that bite. That should be fine. That's barely dropped halfway. We're well over halfway the race. We'll take the rear wing, which is not going to help the lap time at all, but he should come out in 7th apparently if we have no errors, which we'll take. We'll take that as a target, I guess, and we're going to hope that we can get these tyre temps back into working range as fast as we can, or ideally very quickly. I guess Vettel's probably a few laps from a pit stop already. Looks like Norris is in. I guess Bottas will be in shortly. We've gone error free again. Perfect. 7.9 with a rear wing change is spectacular work by the boys. We come out in 6th. Big push on the ERS. We should be just about to reclaim all that fuel we've dropped out the car as well. We can't be far away from it. George is on worn tyres, which is fine. Seb is into the lane as well. Hopefully we can get out near him. Doesn't look like we will. Looks like we got held up a little bit over lapping traffic. I guess Leclerc and Hamilton need to come in. We'll pass them. Vettel's pretty much won this race at this point. If we're completely honest, Vettel has won this race unless we pull off something spectacular. And it's just about trying to get George up into the points now. And let's have a look, see how George is doing, because we don't really need to pay attention to Alonso and his tyres right now. He's at 12%. You'd be very surprised to get things further than we are. Oh, what was that? What was that dying? Suspension? I'm well over halfway. That'll make it. That'll make it. I believe that will make it. Okay. Pit strat again, fast. Let's take all the risks. All the risks we need. Push, push. There we go. We've got George out in 12th. 12th. Good work. Right, give that push. Give that push. Alonso, what are you doing, buddy? Let's get back there. Let's see what we can do. Let's make this work for us. I think we can make this work for us. Blue flags for the man ahead, who is Alex Albon in the, I guess, Toro Rosso still. We've already passed Kvyat. Max Verstappen is the next up the road, which is just weird. How is Max Verstappen being out-qualified and out-raced by Pietro Fittipaldi? That's mental. Fittipaldi's stats for the rain must be insane, because you'd expect Max to be well up there. Don't know what, there's something wrong with that car or what's going on, but this is not playing out well for the boys. We'll drop those back down to neutral for the time being, because we just need to keep them in the window. So if I have to make an extra stop late on, I'll make an extra stop late on. It's going to start to dry out a bit now. Still 14 laps to go, 15 laps to go. We might just about be able to switch onto a set of inters towards the end and see if there's any gains to be made. It's going to be a very late call. It'll be a very late call whether we go to inters. We're sort of watching the track evolution a little bit, seeing if these start dropping out. Oh, safety car. Lewis has crashed. I need to make a big call here. A really big call. Let's pause that. Keep that paused. We're going to go full backup. I'm just thinking, is this the free pit stop we need? Because there's 14 remaining. It's very possible. To the point where I can even take some parts. Alright, we're going big boy risks now. Big boy risks. We'll stick 75% charge in the battery. Where is Fernando? I guess he's further around the circuit. Good. Again, the big boy risks. Another set of wets. The engine's going to be that'll be a 30-second fit. 13.8. Okay, doable. Doable. Do I take fresh suspension as well? 20-second pit stop. Oh, I think it's worth it because I'll be able to push. I think that's worthwhile. We'll try it. We'll try it. Hopefully they're not too close to double stack. I mean, the gap between them is about 30 seconds. This should work out. This should work out. We're going to keep a close eye on things here, because that's going to be interesting. Very interesting. I mean, we've taken second. We are going to come out somewhere around ninth, but we're going to come out somewhere around ninth on tyres that can go to the end of the Grand Prix, which is really crucial. We're going to come out on fairly fresh parts. We'll come out with some fuel to play with towards the end of the race as well, which hopefully will mean I can give a really big push out of the safety car. I'm very much running on a hunch, but we had a mistake on the front right. Let's get that done, boys. Good work. Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be a big strategy call, and I'm very aware that mistake may have caused a proper double stack, because George will be coming in very shortly. George will be coming around in just a moment. We've got Alonso out of the lane. We're good. We're okay. George shouldn't be far behind coming in. I'm just seeing where the safety car is. It's picked up a few guys already. It's sat there. I don't know if on this game it lets lapped traffic go past. You'd hope it would, but you know, hopes and dreams are never what they seem. We've come out in fourth. Should we? You've just come out the pits, Fernando. What do you mean, should we sneak in a pit stop? We just did. That was literally what we just did. You were there. You were driving the car, buddy. You know what happened. Asking stupid questions. Seriously. Another mistake from the team. Really disappointing. I guess George is probably coming out 11th from this pit stop. But again, still in with a shot of points. We're still in fourth with Fernando. This could all work out very nicely. We're on one lap left with the safety car as well, which is worth bearing in mind. Let's speed things along so I can get to the in this lap message. And then it's going to be a case of just wait, just see what happens, relax, and when the call comes, when the time is ready, we should be ready to pounce. Can we let the lap traffic through, please? Let the lap traffic go. Let it go. Let it go. It's all very much in my way. Let the lap traffic go. It's so frustrating when this happens. Really frustrating. George is just going to get back into 10th because Albuquerque decided to pit on the last lap of the safety car. Top 10 strategy right there. Right, we should be getting there slowly. It's just a case of waiting for the safety car lights to go out, essentially. Wait for the safety car message to go out. But we're still a few corners away. As soon as we get the message that we can go zoom again, we're going to go zoom again. That's the strat. That's the strat. As soon as we can go zoom, we go zoom. Because there are places to make up. 7 seconds is the gap between Alonso and Vettel. Russell is sat behind Albuquerque because he must have got just on circuit. Just got back on circuit ahead of Russell, slowing Russell down. I guess we are green now, so they are going to push. That's going to high for a couple of laps, and again push and high, fully RS. Let's go to Fernando. Let's get it done, shall we? Let's get this done. Let's bring home a podium. Bringing home a podium is the plan. I don't know if Ricciardo or Vettel can get all the way to the end. I certainly know that we can get up there. In fact, they've all pit onto Inters after the safety pit under the safety car. What are you doing, you madmen? That track's never going to dry up quick enough to make that change to Inters worthwhile. Surely that track's not drying up that quick. It's brave, we'll keep an eye on it, it's a brave strategy, but I think they've just gifted Alonso a victory. I'm pretty sure they've just gifted Alonso a victory here. We're going to switch that back to medium on the fuel burn, because I forgot how little fuel George has. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've just gifted us the victory, because I cannot imagine Vettel is going to pull out 20 seconds in 9 laps. That's ridiculous. That's such bad strategy. Such bad strategy there. I I mean, Bottas is going to be a bit of a challenge for us, but then it's Valtteri Bottas. You expect him to be a bit of a challenge. We are going to push George Russell up as well, see if he can get on the back of Ricciardo. But so currently it's Alonso in the lead. There are, what, 7 laps to go after this one? 7 laps remaining, and we are in a real fight. A real fight. I think we can actually push these tyres. I genuinely think we can push these tyres on a bit of an attack for a couple of laps, get the temp back in, stop them cooling off too much. I think there's an argument here. I think there's an argument. Bottas has gone full fuel burn. Bottas is desperate to pass Alonso. Let's give that a push. Give the ARS a push. Let's get ourselves out of there. Get ourselves out of danger. We could be in for a double pit. Bottas's pit. What a loon. Bottas's pit, and we are on for a 1-2. And the game is freezing because it can't believe we're on for a 1-2. Don't talk stupid, Fernando. Don't be stupid. We're dropping back to Inters. It's fine. We're dropping back to Inters. We've got to get through 5 more laps, 4.5 more laps. No one cares about Inters right now. They're not making up 20 seconds. It's fine. We're going to be golden. We're going to be absolutely golden, boys. Just believe. Just believe. That's all we need to do is believe. Bring in the 1-2. I'm going to switch to George just for the time being, because I want to make sure no one sneaks up behind him. I want to be ready to do whatever we have to do to keep him behind us. Keep them behind us. 3 laps remaining. That gap is crumbling. It's going to be so close towards the end. I may have played this wrong. I may have played it right. We're going to find out. We have played this very badly. This has worked out very badly. We have lost a lot of places. A lot of places are lost now. Pause that quick. We're going to have to go attack. We're going to have to go ERS. We're going to have to go ERS with Alonso. We're going to have to push here. Really 2 laps to go. Jump up into first, where things are getting hairy. Really hairy. We've screwed this up. We're dropping like stones. No, boys. No, boys. How did we lose 20 seconds? How did we do that? That's so not okay. Come on, guys. And the track wasn't even Inters wet until the last lap. We're getting overtaken by cars and lapping themselves. And that's a 6th and a 9th. Oh, it could have been a 1-2. It could have been a 1-2. George Russell ran out of fuel crossing the line. Oh. That was so tight. So tight. Really, really tight. Oh. We've lost 40 seconds in 4 laps. That's madness. That's an absolute madness. An incredible race, really enjoyable race, but wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to say after that. I really don't know what to say after that. I feel bad because I feel like I've screwed the boys a little bit. But also, you get nothing if you don't gamble, I guess. I could have gone, I talked about going on to Inters at the end, and they actually did it, which is where they've won it, really. If I'd got onto the Inters first, maybe we could have still won the race. But I figured it's a couple of laps to go. I thought a pit stop is not going to be the one for this time. It was too much time to waste with very little gain, and turns out there was quite a lot of gain. But you live, you learn. Still, we pick up 10 points. That's not too bad. Pick up 10 points for the weekend. George is on the board. We're still in 4th in the Drivers' Championship. We'll see where we end up in the Constructors. Still 2nd, but joint 2nd with Mercedes. So all the fight is all on right now. The fight is on. Right, I'm going to leave it there, I think, because it feels like this episode's gone on longer than it normally does. Really has. I thought it was a shorter race than normal, but it's gone on longer than it normally does. So yeah, let's just let it get back to where I can. Well, first of all, we'll see the driver development very quickly because it's going to make no odds in terms of time at this point. And then we're going to get ourselves back into a position where we can see what we're racing next, because I cannot remember for the life of me. I've got a weird feeling it's Spain. Let's see just how what George has developed. I guess blue means that he used a lot of it today. Um, Pretty good development, actually. Pretty good development from George. Solid, solid. All right, we're pleased with the boy. We're pleased. Let's see what we've done money wise. Money wise, we've lost £13,000 for the week. Well, well, well. That will do. That'll do nicely. Don't see where the HQing. Oh, there we go. HQing come there. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a £13,000 loss. That's not the worst. I guess if we'd managed to reach a sponsor bonus, we'd have turned a profit, but the sponsor bonuses are high. Right, let's find out where we're going next. That looks like it's saying Portugal behind all the cloud of the fog of war. So, join me next time for episode 27 and the Portuguese Grand Prix of the 2020 season, which ironically just became a thing in real life. Fun. Yeah, so, until next time, guys, I've been Chasing Lamely. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find me on the Twitter, the Insta, and the Patreon as well, all at Chasing Lamely. And, yeah, until next time, guys, have a good one.